Welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast.
You don't know history, you don't know wrestlers, you don't know matches.
My belly's just a little big, my hand is just a little big, but brother, I am bad and they know I'm bad.
There is no revolution.
You are truly the future of Lucha Underground.
I got it. How about a little heel turn?
And if they piss somebody, if they took somebody off here, well then, there goes their career.
Well, don't piss anybody off.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. The wrestling podcast where we talk about indie stars leaving and possibly going to WWE. And also lots of injuries. Yes, that's what we're going to talk about this week. My name, of course, every single week. I don't even know why I tell you at this point. It is Turbo Tony. You guys know my voice by now. It'd be weird if it was someone else. Especially with my voice, actually. That would be quite weird. And I actually have a co-host here who may have a little inkling into what we're going to talk about this week. Guys, he's got an in. And the reason being is because he almost injured himself this week. It's a rotator cuff, which would have put him out of podcast duty for 6 to 9 months. It's Matt Marsander. How's your shoulder, man?
It's sore.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's like a disease. Rotator cuffs.
It's terrible.
Yeah, jeez. I don't know what a shoulder injury would have done keeping you out of a podcast, but damn, it would have done it. Yeah, sure. Why not?
It's gonna be difficult.
Yeah. How are you doing this week, Matt?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been a long old day, but yeah, I've been doing good.
But it's just the perfect time, Matt, to sit back, relax, and talk some wrestling.
Exactly.
That's the way I look at it. Of course, guys, thank you to the people who came and listened to us for our yearly report. That was a lot of fun, which it shouldn't have been because it's just a yearly report, but it was a lot of fun. That was cool. And if you guys do want to see what we have planned for 2016 and what happened over the course of 2015 in terms of the channel, then that's the place to go. I'm going to leave it up until this time next week, and then it's gone forever. You can say bye-bye. And it'll be gone. So that's all we have to say about that. Matt, if our illustrious fans, if they want to follow us on Twitter, what is that Twitter handle?
The Twitter handle of @TalkWrestlePod.
It is indeed. It is. But I have to say, Matt, that the Facebook is going well, and it's going great. And if you guys want to interact with us on our Facebook page, it is facebook.com/Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast. And that's all our social media pizzazz out of the way for you there. And guys, I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say this is going to be a bumper-ass episode. I've got everything next to me. I've got my drinks. I've got my snacks. Strawberries, actually. I've gotten a little bit cultured for this episode.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. And because it's going to be a big episode. There was a couple of big news stories that dropped over the course of this week. People are clamoring about what's going to happen, where it's going to go, and just opinions. And that's what we give you here on this show.
And dirty teasers.
Dirty teasers, that's right. So there's a big-ass news section over the course of this week, which will take up probably the majority of our show. We've also got our fan feedback, which yet again will take up a significant chunk of our show because there was lots of questions last week, and we're answering all of them. So there you go. We also got our network suggestions, the last week of that, before we head to more NXT goodness next week. I'm just waiting for some NXT goodness, Matt. It's got to come soon.
That's all we need.
Like a junkie, man. I need my fix. It's stuck in there. And of course, we've got a Raw review. If we have time at the end of the episode, of course, we'll talk about some of the big things. But it all depends on how much time we have at the end of the show to talk about Raw. Maybe a very quick Raw review, but it all depends. But we'll talk about what happens and Vince McMahon doing his strut down the ramp, all that goodness there for you. You could do a pretty good Vince McMahon strut, can't you, Matt? You can,
Yeah, I could say I've a capable McMahon strut.
Yeah. You could say that everyone else has no chance in hell at beating you.
Oh,
do you like that?
Something maybe like that, indeed.
I mean, that wasn't even in my notes. I'm a fucking comedic genius, people. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Guys, I'm joking, by the way. I don't actually... I did that, actually, once. I actually said that. Made a really bad joke and said, "Oh, I'm a comedic genius," and someone was like, "Oh my god, he actually thinks he is." This is in a public setting. I was like, "Come off it! Do you really think I'm that bad?" Like, jeez. But still,
Like, the ego isn't that bad.
yeah. But regardless of that, and talking about awkward social gatherings, which aren't exactly something that happens to myself nowadays, but still, we've got a ton of news, Matt. And we're going to get hip deep into the news. We said, Matt, on the last episode, that over the course of 2 weeks, over the Christmas period, there'd barely been any news at all. Well, we all know where that was waiting for, wasn't it? It was for this week. Jeez.
Just all of a sudden, it's like, oh, you want news? I got news.
Plenty. Ask and you shall receive, says the wrestling world. And I think the first piece of news that dominated this week is probably the fallout from Wrestle Kingdom 10. Now, I have watched half of Wrestle Kingdom 10. I loved what I watched. I haven't been able to get around and watch the last half of it. We will talk more about that next week, or talk a little about it here and there over the course of this episode. Just some thoughts about what I saw. I thought that Kenny Omega was brilliant. I really loved his match. And the fact now he's like the leader of what was left of the Bullet Club in New Japan, I think they made a good choice there. I think he's one of the best heels I've seen of a first impression in a while, bar maybe Kevin Owens. So awesome stuff there. And Matt, I'm going to tell you right now, you'll love this show. So once you get some time, get yourself in there, relax. Oh, Matt, I made a morning of it, Matt. I sat back in my chair, kicked my legs up. Oh, what a morning! I just
took it all in.
Just took it all in. What a day! What a day! So, but the thing with that is that there obviously was a match between AJ Styles and Nakamura. All right. Now, these are two huge stars. I'm a big fan of both. Do like their style, and they worked a match together. I haven't watched it, so I won't give my thoughts on that. But it doesn't seem like they're going to be doing much with New Japan anymore. Well, at the very least, AJ Styles is done. He's gone.
Yep.
He was, the night after Wrestle Kingdom 10, he received the obligatory beat down by his teammates and kicked out of the group. He's done. Nakamura, he's going to be wrapping his shit up, dropping his belt by the end of the month. Probably to Kenny Omega, actually. And then he's leaving as well. He's handed in his notice. And then on the side, you've got Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, who also left, and they were involved in a match. In fact, that's the match I just got up to before I stopped watching. So all four of these guys, obviously the two big names there, Matt, AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, sorry, are all gone. And it seems like, I mean, God, we know AJ Styles isn't going back to TNA. We know that for sure. It seems like they're all WWE bound, which sounds fucking weird to say, does it not?
It's it's kind of difficult to sort of comprehend at the moment.
Yeah, but guys, like when these reports came out and everyone was talking about, well, it looks like they might be going to WWE. You know something's up. You know something is definitely in the works when WWE.com themselves are putting out those news stories as well.
Oh yeah,
Clearly.
The only problem, they're taunting it like anything.
Yeah. Guys, this is all but done. WWE would not put anything on their website. They would not put things. They've been putting this through their Facebook page, Matt, to their millions of Facebook fans. If they
Balor. Look at Balor's Twitter and Instagram at the moment.
They did an interview over the last couple of days with Balor about this. Yeah. Guys, all four of them are coming to WWE. It's done. It is. There's no other way that I could think about it. Like, WWE just wouldn't put that stuff out, Matt, unless they have got, by what they believe, these four guys are dead on WWE bound.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can look at it. It was all promising news that they would probably be going there. The minute that WWE put something up, I was like, this is done. They're going there. It's already been completed. As in, there's no outstanding factors left. They're coming. That's just it. So you would ask, Matt, what would they do? Before we get there, Matt, we had questions before whether or not we thought AJ Styles was going to join WWE. And if you remember back then, we said, no, we don't think he will do because we think he's got too much of a cushy deal where he currently is.
Yeah.
And considering another top indie star left the idea of going to WWE for financial reasons, he's probably got a decent deal in doing so. Because I imagine making the rounds, AJ Styles was making a pretty penny. And obviously Nakamura was one of these shining lights of New Japan. So why do you think Styles decided to go to WWE? Do you think maybe it's just the one thing he hasn't done, and now is, if there was a time, now is that time? Why do you think he went?
It's hard to say, really. I think it could very well be that case, though. Because sort of like, what else is there for him to do?
Or maybe, Matt, WWE came to him with an offer that he just simply couldn't say no to.
Hey, you like money? We can give you money.
Yeah. Now, that could either be that he works in NXT in a stable place where they don't do as much touring in his home country. I know he loves Japan, but it's his home country. There's a lot of factors there. You know, it's a lot of reasons why someone would want to go to WWE. Of course, they're an attractive prospect to ply or trade for. Plus the fact there's people there that he's,
familiar with.
But the idea is, Matt, that the Bullet Club as well, not just these four guys, but the Bullet Club trademark itself is now WWE's.
That's it. It's now owned.
Yeah, because the group that was Bullet Club that kicked out AJ Styles, I think they're going under a new name now.
I think it's the Elite.
Think so, yeah. So if that's the case, then in which case WWE did a deal where they've got the name of Bullet Club. And Bullet Club looks like they're making their way to WWE. That looks like it's where it's going. With Balor possibly being one of the main people. Well, of course, he'd have to be as NXT champion. So if that is the case, Matt, and they're going to NXT, this is where it all goes a bit different for me. This is the part of the conversation where I'm sure people are going to have tons of different opinions. You have to commend WWE for the signing of both more so Styles and Nakamura, less so the Gallows and Kyle Addison, as much as I do like their work. Where they're going to go in WWE, what they're going to do.
It's interesting.
Are they going to go to NXT, which seems like a dead set thing, but then the injury crisis going on at WWE means that there's a massive void that you may think that WWE decides we need a big set of reinforcements. Why not better do a faction come in, like the Bullet Club, onto the main roster, and you've got Styles, Nakamura, and Balor all on the main roster? Yeah. That's an injection of new stars that people would be excited to see. And the reason why I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that they go to NXT, Matt. So you've got Zayn back now, which I guess is fine because he was one of the main guys that kind of really got NXT where it was. But you've got Hideo Itami, who will be back soon from his own shoulder injury.
Yep.
You've got Balor, who came from the Indies. You've got Samoa Joe, who came from the Indies. You've now got AJ Styles, Nakamura, Gallows, and Anderson, who all came from what we would call the Indies, right?
Gallows.
Still, right? So does this mean if they start working on NXT for a prolonged period of time, I think you'd be very hard-pressed to call NXT anymore as a developmental division. You'd be very hard-pressed to call it that.
Yeah.
Because of just the amount of already rounded talent for that company. It just seems quite odd. I think one of the things that makes this a bit of an attractive prospect there, Matt, and people might be saying, well, they've got to go and learn the WWE way of doing things. Normally that is the case, but with AJ Styles, Nakamura, all these guys here, they're all used to having matches where there's a hard camera involved. You know?
Yeah.
Like maybe Nakamura not as much, but definitely Styles. He doesn't have to learn how and where to position his body for the camera. He already knows all that shit. Did that in TNA for years, right? So that's not so much of a problem. Matt, I actually think it's far more likely that they head to the main roster than they do NXT.
Straight up. I think it'd be a waste for them to go to NXT. And yeah, like as you said, it'd be almost a necessity for them to get up onto the main roster. But then it's that argument of, like, if they go up to the main roster, do they steal the spotlight from, you know, I put up the picture today of it was referred to as the mid-card mania, which is good. We're looking at.
Yeah. For all intents and purposes, yeah, that's what we're looking at, yeah.
And then if they suddenly just go, yeah, let's do this, and it would kind of just like take a lot of the steam out of it.
Yeah. And I know a lot of the fans were making comments on this saying, well, now it's time for the mid-card to grow. And
that's the one thing, is like, wait for the time for the mid-card. Yeah, I know. I'm not against the idea. Like the mid-card.
yeah, but here's my counter to that. While that is the case, and there's some select people I firmly agree that the likes of Kevin Owens, the likes of Dean Ambrose, would flourish if given the right opportunities that some of the people above them have been given.
Oh, yeah.
Not all that mid-card, not all those people are top-level quality. Or they're just not ready. They're just not good enough, right? Or at this period of time in their careers, they still need 6 months of careful planning. And, you know, WrestleMania's 3.5 months away, right? They still need like a establishment. I'm talking about the Tyler Breezes that could eventually be main event talent, but they've only spent a couple of months on the roster of doing nothing, right?
Yeah.
You need to build them up ready. You can't just go, okay, so all these guys are injured, so these now are your big stars, because otherwise the crowd would be like, well, I'm not fucking willing to watch that, so I'll go somewhere else. So a lot of people may be going, oh yeah, well this is great. So all these guys that we want, the Zigglers of this world can become main event. We'll just put them straight into the main event. It's not as easy as that. You can't do that. You need time to make them ready, and you need to educate the general audience. It's all well and good for us and our fans to go, well, we love Ambrose, Owens, Ziggler, Breeze. I'm sure I'm missing a few other guys that I would love, but the matter of the fact is that in the eyes of the general audience, they're still mid-level talent. And the longer and especially in the eyes of someone like Ziggler, Matt, the longer you're mid-level talent, the harder it is to try and get fans to see you as anything but that. It is very hard. So the longer that you're mid-card, basically you're like in tar, right? The longer you stand in it, the more fucked you are, right? You have to break away from the mold. And so while it's well and good, and I think some guys there in the mid-card can do great if they're given the shot, it's just not as easy as taking, okay, let's just take everyone that would normally wrestle for the Intercontinental Championship and make them go for the world title. Just doesn't work, you know?
Yeah.
They've got a few months to decide, so I'm sure they could do something, but if they want to make a WrestleMania that would be a little bit different, and give a match that maybe more hardcore fans like myself and maybe the LTW fans would like, why not have a Bullet Club versus, let's just say, Wyatt family match? Right? Or you break away some of the guys to have single matches across that card. That's something interesting, right? If you want to go that route. There's a lot of different things you could do with every single person that's coming in, that it opens up these huge creative avenues for WWE, if they can obviously capitalize on it.
Yeah.
But it's one of the other things that they could do, Matt. This is interesting. As I was thinking about this, about what they're going to do with Styles and Nakamura, what they're going to do with them, because they do risk turning NXT into its own the WWE indie brand. It would be rather NXT.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it to you the other day. That's almost sort of grown beyond what they're capable of. If that sort of makes sense.
Sort of, yeah, but
not kind of a bad way to word it.
They've grown further than really what a developmental system should go, right? And it should still be. I still want new faces in there. You know, I want new young faces in NXT to have these new characters evolve. I don't want that aspect of NXT to change. But one way that you could do it, Matt, if you're not going to group these guys together, is that you send Balor and Joe up to the main roster, for WrestleMania, right?
Yep.
And then you replace them with AJ Styles and Nakamura. That's 2 for 2, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't change the huge... Well, it will change the landscape of NXT, but it doesn't change it. So you've got loads of huge indie names just basically cataloguing the show, needing time each week. It's just basically replacing the time that Samoa Joe and Finn Balor would have had. Now they've gone to the main roster with Styles and Nakamura. That is another possible thing that you can do. Gallows and Anderson, they can be a tag team on the main roster on NXT. They're versatile. You can put them wherever you like, right? I certainly wouldn't remind people that Doc Gallows, what he was before. Yeah. But I'm excited about this guy. I actually am. I was excited about it. I mean, obviously, New Japan have lost a lot of big talent here, and they will be gutted. But this is, for what I watch on a weekly basis, I'm hoping that it improves the quality of what we get to see. There's a lot of different ways WWE could take it, and not a lot of them are very bad. To be honest, I'll be happy if they go to NXT. I'll be happy if they go to the main roster. You just hope to how WWE can utilize what they've got.
Yeah.
And not...
Or just realise what they've got as well.
Yeah. Maybe they won't realise just how good Styles and Nakamura could be. And really, they gave WWE the perfect advertisement at Wrestle Kingdom 10. You know? Because I'm hearing that match was fantastic. You know, so... That's all. I don't really know what else really to wrap up with that, except for the fact that this is sort of like a coup for WWE, and it does give fuel to some people saying that WWE are trying their best to whittle away the indie competition that they have. And what I mean by that is people might say, well, the indies aren't competition to WWE. Yes, well, that's right. WWE, Vince McMahon is not a person to look at somewhere else making money and try and figure out a way that he can at least get a cut of that, especially when it's to do with wrestling, right? So this comes to a point where there's a lot of money to be made with these huge indie stars. He's going to be interested. And if he isn't, Triple H certainly is, you know? So, I don't know, Matt. There's a lot of different ways they can go. If people are going to push me to prediction, I think these guys are going to main roster. That's how I see it going.
I think with the current climate that we're in, I think they will.
Yeah.
I fear, however, that NXT's the smart crowd. The main roster isn't.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Yeah, I get the feeling that it would be, obviously it's going to be harder for Styles and Nakamura to make an impact on the main roster. I still think they could do it. Like, the best way for WWE to do it is to have them debut in a crowd that would be very receptive to them. I'm talking a Philadelphia crowd, or a Chicago crowd, or a New York crowd. One of those crowds would know these guys, and they would pop big for them coming out. Don't know if they got any dates going up, but interesting. The way that I would do it, Matt, to shake up the main roster, especially with such, I mean, we're going to go through the stars that WWE has injured at the moment, right?
Sure.
With the void that I would do, I would have Balor lose the NXT Championship to Baron Corbin as the new heel champion. He can lose it to someone else he can be the heel to someone else, right?
Yeah.
And I would bring them all up as a group onto the main roster. That's what I would do, and I know it's fucking risky, but that's how I would do it. And maybe that's not so much for the best of NXT, it's more for the best of what happens on the main roster. But I firmly believe that NXT should still be a developmental brand. Whether or not it's gone past that maybe is a different discussion for a different day, but how would you do it, Matt? If you had full control, how would you book these 4 new guys coming in? Where would they go?
Main roster.
You go exactly saying you probably go to the main roster.
With the current landscape that WWE have, it's kind of tough not to go that route.
Yeah, that's how I would do it. But
they're locked into it, really.
I'm fully aware, by the way, before people are typing up responses going, "Oh no, that's never going to work." There obviously are huge risks in doing it, and obviously my opinion is biased because I already know and I already like, these guys. So, but still, I understand the problems with it, and ordinarily, with a roster that had some of the names we're going to rattle off in a minute, there just wouldn't be space for AJ Styles and Nakamura. I'm fully sure of that, especially with John Cena around. But that isn't the case anymore. But we'll soon see. But that is big news, big interesting news. Matt, I would be hugely shocked with WWE putting up what they have on their own social media outlets about them coming in, that they don't arrive or something. I would be hugely shocked. I think it's a done deal, personally.
Yeah.
So, there we are.
I think that's pretty much what we're looking at.
That's what it is. And I think with WrestleMania coming around, you're going to find out where they're going sooner rather than later. That's how I think it. Possibly even Royal Rumble. Possibly. At least.
I think we'll know by Rumble.
Maybe not Nakamura, but you certainly could be looking at AJ Styles as a Royal Rumble surprise. And what a surprise that would be, by the way. Here we go. The injury crisis that these indie stars may have to bail out WWE on a little bit. I'm going to rattle off some of these names, Matt. Hideo Itami is out with an injury. Doesn't impact the main roster that much. You've got Tyson Kidd still with his neck injury. He's out.
Yep.
You've got Cesaro. He's out, right, with an injury. Gone for a while. He was doing great work before he got injured as well, so that's a shame. Daniel Bryan has been out since like a month after WrestleMania 31.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they could do with Daniel Bryan right now, even though they refused to clear it for whatever reason. You got Seth Rollins, who was injured over the course of the year. He was the world heavyweight champion at that time, on a very lengthy run, may I add.
Yep.
You've got Randy Orton, who, contrary to what he says on his Twitter, whether or not he went in for surgery or not, he's still word is he's still out for 6 months. He'll still miss WrestleMania. And the newest addition to that very long list of injuries is John Cena. He went in for shoulder surgery over the course of this week. He is said to be out for 6 to 9 months, but I'm putting it here because it's John Cena. It's probably going to be closer to 6 than it is 9. Probably even 5. But I still think he's missing WrestleMania.
Oh, that's a definite.
I think he'll be at WrestleMania, but he won't be wrestling. I think they'll have him there in some capacity, but I don't think he's going to be wrestling at that show. So clearly, this is setting WWE into alert mode over the course of this week. Cena returned last week. He had that match with Del Rio. I imagine he was going to win back his championship, and he was going to be involved in some sort of big-time match at WrestleMania that would help sell what WWE hopes is over 100,000 seats for Mania 32. This has got a big problem. You've said this now. You kind of alluded to it a little bit going in. WWE has a big booking problem for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
They already had a booking problem when Rollins went out, because they had a clear plan. It was going to be Rollins and Triple H at WrestleMania. Probably non-title, but it was probably going to be that. And that was going to be one of their big matches that they had a 6-month plus build-up on, and it's gone, right? So now you're probably looking at Triple H reigns at WrestleMania, right? Which I'm not against. That should be fine. It may even happen beforehand, but I'm sure they'll probably will save it, especially now for WrestleMania. And then the other idea that you could have, if John Cena was around, you could have him in a big title match, or you could have him wrestle The Undertaker, which was a big thing that was going around. He's never wrestled Undertaker at WrestleMania, and it would be Undertaker's final match. Sorry, Cena's gone. He's out. So that leaves, when you're looking at this, Cena, Orton, Rollins, and Daniel Bryan, they're missing a lot of main event level talent right there.
Cesaro as well.
Yeah, Cesaro less so, but I'm sure Cesaro would have put on a fantastic performance at WrestleMania, right? As he always tries to do at very least, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, that's another problem for them there. And Matt, you brought this out to me. It's the curse of WrestleMania 31.
Yeah. Everyone who left champion in 31 is out injured. And will miss 32.
And we'll miss the next one, which is very shocking. Clearly, I don't even have to ask. I don't think that's ever happened before, or at very least for WWE. Probably in any event, that preceded it before. Maybe along those lines, maybe I'm not sure. But definitely WrestleMania. This is just bizarre. This really is. We're talking about huge main event drawing power here. We're talking John Cena, Randy Orton, yeah? Rollins is a big main event star now because he's been established as that fact. But in terms of drawing numbers, drawing ticket sales, Cena and Orton not being there is fucking huge. It is. It's massive that they're not going to be at that show. So you're left with this massive void at the top of the show of big talent that people are excited about. That's the reason why you've got Roman Reigns feuding with Vince McMahon at the moment, really. Because Sheamus isn't a good enough heel to really rival with him. He's basically the dude love in this situation, right? So, yeah, this is a huge deal, John Cena being here. It's always going to be a huge deal, but even more so now, Matt, with the huge injury crisis that is going on in WWE at the moment. It's not unprecedented that WWE ever had an injury crisis before, but I think it's come at just the wrong time. Would you agree with that?
I think it's for this crisis, every time's a bad time, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, you could argue WrestleMania period is probably the worst.
It's probably the worst. Yeah, well, exactly. It's the worst time.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. And Matt, with the like I said, I alluded to it there. They for everything that we've heard over the last 6 months, WrestleMania 32 is a very, very important WrestleMania for WWE because they want to break attendance records. They want to break 100,000 people in that stadium. I'm sure that they will find a way, or they will elaborate their numbers a little bit, but I'm really going to say that they're going to struggle over the course of the next 3 months to really build up a show for WrestleMania. Sure, you've got Brock Lesnar, he's all good. You've got Undertaker, that's fine. You've got Roman Reigns, and Triple H, of course.
I was going to say, you've got Roman Reigns, but I don't know if Reigns hasn't that drawing power yet. I think they're actually banking quite a lot on the fact that they've got The Rock confirmed.
Yeah.
It's almost like been their scapegoat at the moment.
It's quite possible, Matt, that they might have. I doubt they would have known John Cena, but there's always a chance that maybe they knew that Cena wasn't. There was a good chance he might not have. He's in a bad way, and they're like, well, now we really need to pull out some big cards here, and something like this. It's kind of going into what we said earlier on. You've got the chance for that mid card to have a chance, but that mid card is not going to be a drawing power over the next 3 months. It just isn't going to work. And after that, WWE won't care that much.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. So I'm sure there'll be a few guys that will get a little bit more of the rub of the green, especially weekly, on the weeks leading up to WrestleMania. But geez, is it... Man, I would not want to be WWE's management right now and trying to figure out a way through this mess. These are big stars that at very least would get a match on a WrestleMania card, and they're all gone. All of them. A huge, huge deal. John Cena is the big exclamation point with all this. If John Cena was still okay and he was still going to WrestleMania, I would think the other guys being out, Cena being the guy he is, and he does have genuine pulling power, I think it would be okay. But with John Cena gone, there's no safeguard anymore, and it's going to be very interesting, Matt, how they deal with all this. The card for WrestleMania is not going to be anything like what we thought it was going to be 6 months ago, because of those huge injuries problems.
Just all of a sudden, it's just like shit.
Oh fuck, we're kind of screwed here, and that's the way it's going. So, hope Cena gets better. Of course, he's like a fucking Superman. Of course, he'll get better, and like I said, people are quoting 6 to 9 months. I'm sure because he's just a freak that he'll be back in like 4 to 5. But regardless of that, he's still going to miss WrestleMania. So he could be as Superman as he likes. He's still missing Mania. If all the reports are as we've heard. But I haven't heard anyone else go against that. It's not like I think Cena's like even been taken off like plans for like up to WrestleMania and stuff like that. And if that's the case, then we'll see. But anyway, some other news. Smaller news, but interesting ones nonetheless. And this involves TNA. James Storm has gone back to TNA. I was very shocked at this. Very shocked. Now, apparently this decision was completely financially based. I think that the reports were that he was given a $100,000 a year deal with WWE, which isn't actually that high for what he could get. James Storm. TNA handed him $250,000 and some extra goodies in there for him.
Wasn't it like, oh, we'll give you what was it? WWE were like, we'll give you 100,000, and then
no indie dates, by the way, no indie dates that you can work with that.
True.
He would.
But TNA offered him 250,000.
Yeah.
But that's not per year. That was over 2 years.
But it's still guaranteed, right? And
yeah, it's still
more
guaranteed.
money.
It's still yeah.
I get what you mean. Yeah,
you're still like 50K, better off.
Yeah. No,
work indies.
And one of the things that you could think of that as well is that like he's going to be treated like the big dog in TNA because they're paying him a shitload of money for what they have.
What's the other thing? Because I was thinking of myself the other day. Thinking this to myself the other day. Speak.
Yeah.
But does he just want to be big fish in small pond?
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting thought track. Does he want to be not one of the cogs in WWE? Does he want to be the whole machine in TNA? That's
yeah.
It depends. Like I actually think it's a move that he's gonna. As far as we know, he hasn't burnt any bridges with TNA, and as far as we know with TNA, him being there signing a contract for 2 years may not mean he is there for 2 years. Like, that could be completely different.
I did very much like the Star Wars meme involving James Storm.
I didn't see that one.
It's just Triple H shouting traitor at him.
Oh. Well, according to WWE, I haven't got any hard feelings towards him. So apparently the door is still open. That being said, TNA having, he's going there for money. I firmly believe that he's going there not with the idea that he's going to do fantastic work and he's going to change things for TNA. He went there because the offer was better, right? Because TNA had their debut on Pop TV this week, and it didn't go very well. They only just got above 250,000 viewers on Pop TV on their debut show. Now, the flip coin of Storm joining them, of course, is that this was supposed to be their big new debut on the network. They've even got, they've tried to get some of the ROH talent. I think they have. I can't remember who exactly they got. But it's one of those things that, by the way, this viewership is less than what they were doing on Destination America. And this is on their debut show at Pop TV. This is horrific news for TNA. And for all the TNA fans, Axe, to keep saying, oh, you keep saying we're dying, but we're still here. We are not really, because no one's really watching. 250,000, that's less than what you got before your last network, No, before the network that you're on now, which is Destination America. And before Destination America, you're doing you're doing over 1 million viewers every week. Right? They can't seem to understand that with every network that you're forced to switch, you're going to lose viewers. Absolutely. Without any question. You're going to lose viewers. And just the fact that, I didn't even know what Pop TV was until TNA went to it. A little bit like Destination America. It's a little bit like, come on. This is prolonging the inevitable now. You're losing viewers every single week. I firmly believe as well, Matt, that in the next 18 months, they'll have to find another place to go. Do you think that as well?
In the current trend, yeah.
Yeah? I honestly think that this is the way that I see it going. The 2016 for TNA, I think they will survive until next year. I will say that. But they've been surviving for the last 3-4 years, and it's not been going great for them, right? I think that they will have 6 months on this channel. I think that you're going to start seeing ratings decline. And roughly when WWE has, like SummerSlam, roughly around those time, I reckon you're going to start hearing rumours that Pop TV won out. Almost like I think it's going to be exactly like Destination America, where they thought that they could get this show, pay some money in, it would be a big ratings draw for them, but they expected more for their money that they put into the show, Pop TV, and in the end they'll be like, well, actually, we can't keep this money up for what we're getting out of it. We want to cut bait. We want out. So you need to find another place to go. I think they'll do exactly what Destination America did. So that's how I see it going. And guys, I think TNA going to its fourth network in like 2 years, that is a death
Easily,
of the company.
yeah.
Right? I think that you're not going to get a huge rebirth from the company. I think any momentum that TNA had has gone, and it's gone quick, and people just don't care about it anymore. So it's the bottom line of it, really. And it's a real shame, because there's a lot of guys there that could do with that money. And it's because the only reason, and people might be even getting sick of me saying this, Matt, the only reason TNA is in the problem as it is now is because they just haven't run the company properly. They haven't run the company that well. They promised things that never happened, like tours to India, right? They ran their mouth about social media and everyone being against them, which, good luck. Well, WWE has plenty of shit against them all the time. You know? We talk shit about WWE as much as we do TNA, right? Just get over it. Don't dwell on it. Just move forward and create better content. And it was this sort of idea that everything is everyone else's fault but ours. We're the victims. No, it's your fault. That's the only problem. So, that's what you get. Talking about SmackDown, Matt. SmackDown had a move of network as well. Carted itself off to USA. Which doesn't make any difference to us because we don't watch it.
That's it.
Yeah.
But then they also debuted a new a new commentator.
They did. And one of the interesting things about that as well is I've been hearing that Jerry Lawler has gone heel. The King.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
Now, obviously, I didn't watch it. I'm not going to watch it if I didn't have time to watch all of Wrestle Kingdom 10. Let's just get real, people. Yeah, I tell you what. If this is true and Jerry Lawler starts commentating heel, I might give SmackDown a cheeky little watch over the next couple of weeks. Because I think that Jerry Lawler has been coasting probably for a couple of years, just doing Jerry Lawler stuff. And it'll be interesting to see how he works on a pay-per-view panel, right? But if he's going heel again, this could be just a kick up the arse that Jerry Lawler wanted all these years. Because I honestly think that, I mean, guys, everyone knows Jerry Lawler's best work was as a heel, right? That's like an understatement of the century, right? I don't think I ever liked King being a face commentator. I mean, did you ever catch on with it with King?
No. No, I'm very much an arsehole King fan.
Yeah. With him constantly getting at Jim Ross and playing off of Jim Ross and doing his jokes back when they were funny, that was King at his absolute commentary prime. And maybe I'm getting a little bit too excited about this, but I tell you what, if that's the case, I'm interested.
I'm good for it.
I'm interested. He can't do much worse than fucking JBL on the main roster. So there is that. But still, we'll see. That's all the news for this week. We almost went an hour with all of our news.
Yeah. For news only, not bad going.
I told you it was going to be one of those weeks. And it was. Of course, we're covering we'll be covering the evolution of what happens with those 4 guys coming from New Japan over, and ROH, of course, some of them were aligned with ROH, going over to WWE. That's going to be so interesting. I'm so interested to see what WWE are going to do with this wealth of talent that they've just acquired. It's going to be really fun to see how it transpires. Matt, are you ready for fan feedback?
I am ready for the feedback.
You are ready for the feedback. We've got some humdinger questions this week on the show. And of course, if you guys do want to leave any questions, you can leave them on all of our social media places like Facebook, Twitter, and also where you guys normally like to leave it, in the comments section below. We've got a feast of questions this week. Rico Coupons, I think that's how I say the name. Apologies if I got it wrong. He also says that his English isn't so good. Well, I tell you what, mate, you're not that bad. You're actually pretty decent for your English in terms of leaving these questions. So don't put yourself down. That's what we're saying. You're awesome, all right? Yeah. That's certified Turbo Tony
approval.
That's right. That doesn't come easy. So there you go. Also, by the way, I would be very much of a hypocrite to say to you, your English is shit, when I don't know 2 languages. So, that's pretty bad of me if I said that.
Yeah.
I don't, guys. I don't know a lick of anything. I took 5 years of French, and I still don't know anything. What about you, Matt? Are you good with a second language?
I am a small red fish. That's all I know in French. Oh, do you speak English?
Oh, okay.
I'm not 100% sure I've got that right.
Well, in which case you know more than I do. So there you are.
Sorry.
Bonjour. Bonjour. Oh yeah, yeah. Or Olay. I know that one. Yeah, we do that all the time in NXT. Yeah, there you go. So he asks, what would we do if we were the owners of WWE? With all the injuries, he wants us to book a WrestleMania main event and a match for The Undertaker. Quite poignant over the course of this week, right? So a WrestleMania main event and a match for The Undertaker. Now, this is a really hard question. Not only for ourselves, but obviously for WWE. I have to figure this out as well. I would probably go with a Reigns Triple H title match, Matt, but I would do it with Triple H being the champion going into WrestleMania.
So, involving the Rumble match.
Yeah. Essentially, Triple H comes out. Or he can even win it at Fastlane, I don't care. But he needs to go in as the champion and Roman Reigns takes it back. So, yeah, I mean, that's where I think probably where that match is going to go, with Triple H being the champion, winning it at some point before WrestleMania, and then you've got Reigns trying to get it back. Maybe Reigns' last chance where he gets fired or something. I don't know. That's how I probably would do it. That's probably how I would do it. You've got a storyline building there. You don't have much time else to build up a long-term storyline, so there's something there that you could do for yourself, but still. And they are building up to Triple H coming back, and they're going to have a match, Reigns and Triple H. Just depends on where it happens. It's going to happen at very least at Mania or before Mania, so it's going to happen. But in terms of match for Undertaker, I don't know, man. That one had me stumped for a while. What do you think for Undertaker?
I actually couldn't think of one.
Couldn't think of one.
Not really. If this is to be his last, I couldn't think of anyone to really give him the final hurrah.
Well, my train of thought, because I struggled here, right? So people can definitely say, well, no, I don't agree, Tony, and I'll be like, fair enough, because I really struggled. And I've been talking about him a lot this episode, actually. Is that I would bring up Balor and have his match be against Taker and Taker's final match. And obviously it would have to be with Balor getting the victory. And you can have the Demon overthrowing the Dead Man, right? To take his place, sort of thing. That could be somewhere that you could think of doing it. I don't think that's what WWE would do, but I think that's something that if I were the owners of WWE, that would be something that I'd be interested in seeing, and I would.
It's the only sort of thing you could do.
Yeah.
To be fair. Plus, with the amount of doubt that they've been having recently, of like, how are we going to get Finn Balor over in the main roster?
Well, I win against Taker.
There's one way.
Yeah. And he's one of those people that wouldn't be booed if you got a victory over Taker, right? You know, and
yeah,
you know, it would be a big thing, and you could even have Taker passing the torch, if you will, to Balor. There's a lot of things you could do there. That's the only one I could think of, really. It's kind of hard without Cena.
Our new Phenom.
Right, because I thought Cena, you could just place him into this match. It's fine, it works. But there's a lot of people there that, for instance, Triple H had 2 matches with Undertaker recently. You could put Reigns against Taker, but I really don't think that's something that's going to work that well.
No.
No. And they don't want Reigns anywhere close to someone like Taker, where people are going to boo Roman Reigns, right? They want him in a storyline where you're going to put him up against people that people just really don't want, so Reigns by course of elimination.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the way I would probably do it, And, Balor, can you imagine the Undertaker Balor entrances at WrestleMania? I mean, that's just sexy right there, right?
Well, that's 20 minutes plus.
Yeah, right there. And you know what? I'd fucking love every second of it. So there you go. So Racist Fan Rocks 4. I don't know if you're a fan of races, as in, like, cars or something. I don't get that name, but okay, whatever. Says, if we had to pick 3 teams from ROH to join WWE, who would it be and why? And this is the unfortunate part of the show where I explain that out of all the wrestling we watch, Ring of Honor is the one we watch the absolute least. And it's not because we want to. We'd much rather watch Ring of Honor, but it's quite hard to find. And people might argue, oh, you watch Lucha Underground. It's because Lucha Underground grabbed me, right? You know, I felt like it really grasped me. And Ring of Honor is cool. We've had questions before around about whether we would watch Ring of Honor. It's just one of the things that we don't have tabled in for now. And people might say, well, you love New Japan stuff, and they're always on Ring of Honor. Yeah, but I'm not going to say that it's silly that we don't watch it. It's just something that just didn't naturally go for us. So, and you haven't watched much Ring of Honor either, have you?
I have not. No.
So I wanted to bring this up. I will say for one thing though, so I can't really give it a really good answer. I don't want to give answers if I don't think that I have enough to know about them. Matt will never say the Young Bucks.
No.
He will never ever say.
I will not,
because he doesn't like them. Myself, I'm okay with them. I think they're all right. Matt, he's one of those people who just doesn't like the Young Bucks.
I guess I just need to watch more of their stuff. But all I see ever of the Young Bucks is just them doing a fucking double super double super kick, and just dicking around.
Well, that's part of the reason why I like them. But there you go.
No.
But I don't know. Maybe people might say that bad of me, but I still think they're all right. I still think they're okay. But you, just not for you.
Nope.
Not for you. Okay, that moves on. So we've got... now, I'm starting to think I've been saying this wrong. Because I've been saying MC Schwabo. I think it's Muk Schwabo. In which case the C should be small. Tell me whether or not I have this right. Or just tell me which way you would like me to say your name. And then we can put this to rest. Okay? This mystery... That's keeping me... Mate, you've been keeping me up at night trying to figure out how to say this name, alright? So, yeah, I need to sleep. Okay? What about you, Matt? Have you been losing sleep over this?
Oh, I can't say I have.
You can't say you have? Well, maybe it's just because I'm a little bit more mad. A little bit more
Possibly.
over the hill, some would say. So, there is that. And here's 2 questions involving the women this week. Firstly... which women of the past would we bring to the current roster, if any? And what 3 girls would we bring into NXT from the Indies, and why? So, firstly, I think a lot of people are instantly going to think of a previous woman onto the current roster. People are going to think Trish Stratus. People are going to think Lita. I'd be disinclined to say so, because I think the way that they wrestled and the way that they would have to try and perceive themselves now, they can still do it, but not regularly, right? And I don't think they could ply their trade as like managers to the full extent of what they could do before. And it's nothing against them; just they've moved on, right? They're doing other stuff, right? You know, I mean, no, Lita's becoming like a presenter, but WB in some cases now. But
she's like a presenter. I thought she was like I don't even know what she's doing at the moment. To be fair,
she's kind of doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, right? One woman I would bring in is a woman that's been talking to the women a lot on social media. That's Medusa, Alundra Blaze. And the reason why I bring her in is not as a wrestler, you know, although she does look like she could kick someone's ass, and I'm not against her having at least some physicality if there's a segment or a match that calls for it. But she's one of these, I mean, especially with her tattoos and everything, she's an imposing woman. She can do a good promo, right? She's well spoken in what she wants to speak, right?
She's a Heyman girl.
She's a Heyman girl, right? Maybe make her so she grabs one of the girls under her wing, and manages them. Maybe in a way, I don't want to make this sound like it's bad, but if you want to make like the female evolution, she could be the Ric Flair in that group if you wanted. You know, there's a lot of roles that she could do, and I think a lot of people would like having her back. And that's my pick, anyway. People might say not, and I understand why. What do you think, Matt? From the
I think
past?
she's pretty much it.
You don't think someone like Molly Holly, maybe?
No.
I didn't think her either.
Unfortunately, if there was one thing that reminded me of when they did the 3...
superheroes.
No, not 3 superheroes. They did like the 3 women, like table for 3 thing.
Okay.
And it just reminded me, it's like, Molly Holly bored me.
I know, but the only thing that's... I thought she was okay, but one of the things that I would say is that time has been fantastic to Molly Holly. More than
agreed.
Like, she looks amazing. Like, I'm not going to take anything away from any of the other women. They still look fantastic. But something about Molly Holly, she looks better now than she did before. I don't know how that works, but... still. But I don't know. There's some other ones you can think of that maybe did well back then, but that's just the first one that comes out to me. And of course, she got inducted recently, so she's already. You could already argue that people this generation already know of her, right?
Yeah.
It works. It works to me. 3 indie girls to come into NXT to fill up the void from the gutting of the women coming out. Even though you can say it's been relatively somewhat dealt with Asuka and Nia Jax coming in, but still, we'll answer it. I picked out 3, Matt, and I thought about this for a very long time. So I'd be interested to see what you think of my picks. So I want you to rate them for me. Are you ready?
Okay.
So
unfortunately, I don't have picks.
Okay, but I want you to rate mine.
Right.
My first is the Scottish woman, Kaylee Ray, who was on NXT. She jobbed to Nia Jax. And the reason why I like her is, one, because you don't have a Scottish contingent at the moment in WWE, as far as I know. I may be missing someone out there, but still. And she can do a lot of stuff that a lot of their women cannot do. She is a high flyer, right? So she could perform a lot of moves that could... that you're not going to see the likes of, even like some of the more established stars like Sasha Banks would be doing, right? Kaylee Ray does have an arsenal of a lot of good stuff. One thing that might work against her is I just get the feeling that, and I don't mean this, she's a very good-looking woman. I don't think WWE like the way that she looks. That's maybe part of the reason. But if I were there, I would give her a chance. I thought she did her job admirably. She was also, if you don't know who she is, she was the woman that was in the latest TNA boot camp. I think she was the only woman who got to the end of that.
Yeah.
My second one is Evie, who also jobbed to Nia Jax, funny enough. And I really liked her when she came on. I thought she's got a fantastic look. I thought I didn't get to see much of her wrestling, but as far as I've heard from people, she's pretty damn good. And I looked at some of her other matches today. I thought they were fine. And she's young and moldable. What, especially NXT? What else is there really that you want? Really, you know, somewhat. Obviously, they've got a base that their workers, that their trainers can work with. She's good looking. She isn't the good looking of the Eva Marie, but I think that's what WWE wants at the moment. They're kind of going out of the supermodels and more into the in quote cute girls, yeah, like the you know, like some of the women they've been promoting more recently, right? You know,
Yeah. I mean, look at Bayley; she's not that.
but I still think of her as cute, right? I wouldn't have a problem, right? I know she's not, you know, but you know what I mean. She isn't a Eva Marie supermodel,
Yeah.
so that's fine. And the last one, if you're looking for someone that was maybe a little bit more established, someone that can go in there right now and can put on a very good match against a lot of the girls that they currently have, I think you can go wrong with Cherry Bomb. I think that she's the only thing with her. She's older than the rest, and I know WWE, because she's getting close to 30, will probably be like, well, what are we really going to do with you? Like, we've got Sasha Banks, we've got Bayley, they're young, we've got Paige. They're younger than you. They do more of what we want to do more than you. But I think if you want someone to come in straight away and perform a good match, I don't think you can go that wrong with her. So, what do you think of those 3 picks?
Okay,
Rate me.
Rate them.
Rate me. Don't you dare say they're bad, because they're awesome. You know that. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I would completely agree. I think Sherry would kind of be second.
Okay. I would actually say she's last because of her age.
Yeah, but then she's experienced and able to just come in and just work. But then the only problem is to work the different way, or the style of the WWE. Yeah. So it could just be too much to break off.
Yeah, you might be right with that. That's why I think that you're looking at the other girls. I actually don't know how old Kaylee Ray is, but I think she is younger than that. I certainly know Evie is at the age where WWE would be like, we love her because she's that young.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, she's young. Basically, and I mean, this is really bad. I don't think WWE should do this. There's a reason why you don't see women in WWE past the age of like 32. Right? Because that's when, I don't like it, that's when WWE perceives their supermodel look to go away. Right? That's the reason why they've gone for younger faces, so they can mold young, get them great, get their good years. So they by the way, they love Paige, by the way, because they think, oh, we've got 8 years until she's 30. We've got 8 years of Paige. Whereas if they brought in someone that was 25, they train her for 3 years, so she's 28. We're like, okay, so at max we've got 4 years with her before her looks fade and we can't have her on camera anymore. You know? And people might be saying, wow, that's really superficial. Guys, wake up. This is WWE, right? This is the way that they look at their women. If you get to an age where they believe that your looks are starting to slip, they will can your ass. They will tell you it's time to end. You know?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Just WWE. Candice Michelle gained a little bit of weight, and they canned her. Believe me, they were. And by the way, that's when she started getting okay in the ring. So, you know, I still remember that. I was still being like, oh my god, like for like 1 week she got bad, and it was just like, yeah, here you go. They were looking for a reason. Yeah, they were looking for a reason. So there we are. But that's what I think anyway, in terms of indie stars. I'm sure there's a few more, but I mean, by the nature of indie, there's going to be a few I miss anyway, just by not seeing them. The whole thing about indie, it's hard to find these people. So, there we are. Liam Cook wants both of us to rebook Alberto Del Rio, and I cannot roll the R's, so I will not try. I'm just one of those people. Can you do it, Matt? Can you roll your R's?
No. A little bit, but then it just goes.
I tell you what you did there was more than I can do. So that will tell you how.
Fair enough.
My wife is fantastic, and I would get her to do it on the show, but I'm pretty sure that that's not what people really want to hear about. So, you know, but I don't know. I don't know why someone gets good at rolling their R's. But anyway, he wants us to rebook him, considering that his return was exciting for all of one night, basically. And to make him more relevant than he is now. And this was left on our Facebook page, by the way. So kudos to that.
Yes.
Do want to apologise to Liam Cook. His was the question that I missed last time. So we did actually miss his last question. That's why I want to take special attention to this question. So before I go off on the essay I've written about this question, Matt, would you like to tell us how you would rebook Alberto Del Rio?
I'd get rid of him.
You'd fire him? Jeez, that's one hell of a rebook.
It's harsh. No. I would drop him from this League of Nations bullshit.
Mm.
It's tough, but I want to get him back as a legitimate champion.
Oh, you were so close. I thought you were going to go where I went there.
A legitimate threat. Like, even if he's not champion, but just at least, like, he is Alberto Del Rio, and he doesn't fuck around.
So, my essay, I thought you were going to go where I was going to go, in terms of when you said going back. And I was like, okay. I did go back. I went back to the very first vignettes you ever saw of Alberto Del Rio. Remember them? They were in a lavish Mexican mansion, and he was just basically saying how fantastic he was, how much money he had, and all this lot. I thought WWE had something going with Alberto Del Rio like that. And I think if you're going to rebook him, if you want to go back and you want to rebook Alberto Del Rio to be something extra, something special, do you remember how Alberto Del Rio used to come out? He used to come out in a car. He used to come out with his own ring announcer. He used to come out with the pyro. Remember the fucking falling gold behind him. You know, he still got the music, whatever. And slowly, bit by bit, they started taking it away. First they took away the car. Then, by storyline, they took away Rodriguez, who was his personal ring announcer. Then they took away his pyro, that he doesn't even have that anymore. Now all he has is a towel around his neck. Right? That is all that is Alberto Del Rio. Hell, he doesn't even say it's my destiny anymore. I used to make tons of fucking jokes about that, right? What I would do is that while I would give him all of that back, maybe not, obviously not give him like Rodriguez, because otherwise he's going to look like you're rehashing it now. Go back to the roots. Go back to make him a guy who was of legitimate Mexican royalty, right? And when I mean that...
So they go on about him being, like, Mexico's greatest export, but there's no real hint that he's Mexican at all.
In his character, Matt, he isn't, right? He isn't anything, right? Why don't you, instead of trying to get JBL to tell everyone on commentary it's Mexico's greatest export. Why don't you treat him like that? Why don't you put the suit back on the guy? And when he has like these segments with the authority, instead of them talking down to him, or which I know they don't normally do, but anyway, but what they would do to normally a lot of their heels, when he comes in, it's almost like, oh, Alberto, well, thanks a lot for coming here. We're almost like he's on a social level equal to them, right? That they think they're of royalty, of wrestling royalty, and Del Rio is Mexican wrestling royalty. So they shake his hand. Hell, they might even have dinner with the guy. Like, he's such a huge star that the management of the company would bend over backwards just to make him happy, right? He is of a higher social esteem than just the common folk, like Ryback and all that shit. They're just them. They're fine where they are. But Alberto Del Rio, he's a man among men. Right? He's something so special that instead of talking to Ziggler because he's just a nobody, he has to prove himself, whatever. Alberto Del Rio, man, he's royalty, man. He's the guy. We'll shake hands with him every time. We're happy when he comes into we're happy to speak to him. That's how I would do it. I would make him so he's got lots of money to spend. Portray him as a guy that when he wrestles people that he deems are less than his social standing, he's insulted.
Yeah.
Why would he wrestle someone like, just think of a random mid-carder. I'll just say Dolph Ziggler. Why would he wrestle Dolph Ziggler? Dolph Ziggler isn't... This is Dolph Ziggler. He's not on the same social standing as Alberto Del Rio. Why would he waste his time wrestling Dolph Ziggler? And they kind of got to that when he first came out, and that's the Alberto Del Rio that I actually quite enjoyed. So I'd just go back to basics with the guy. I really would. I mean, you'd have to go back from very scratch, and you can't redo it. You can't just suddenly put him back in the car, give him Rodriguez, make him come out, because people will be like, he's just doing all this shit again. Give him new things that still play up to the fact that he's this... Matt, he's royalty, right? He is... Like, you don't... Like, Brock Lesnar's a big deal because he's a monster, and he is respected and feared because of that. But you give the same sort of attention into detail with Del Rio, and you give him respect, but it's because of his social standing. It's something completely different. Yeah, he can snap in the ring. He's still a well-equipped wrestler, as we all know. But he's just, he's just on a different level to people. Like, why would he waste time speaking to the commoners of us, right? The people that pay to see him. Why would he have to play up to them? That's why that's just classic heel 101 right there. But somehow they lost their way. And now he's just the Mexican guy, right? Who comes out
that guy with the other guys.
Yeah. To me, Matt, the way I would look at it, right now, he would look at Sheamus, Barrett, and Rusev and think, I'm above every single one of these people. Why would I waste my time teaming with them? For me, he's a character that wouldn't get in a stable. He would be on his own always. Because why would he waste his time with someone else? He's Alberto Del Rio. He's royalty. He's the man, right? He is, you know what I mean? I'm trying to build up his thing. That's how I would do it. I've actually went a step further, Matt. You might enjoy this. And I have displayed how I would have booked Alberto Del Rio from day one coming into the company. Would you like to hear it?
What, from the beginning or from his return?
From the beginning. From him stepping foot into WWE. Here's how I would have done it, and it would be interesting to see what people think of this. So I would have brought him in, and pretty much you've got sort of the same deal, right? He's wrestling royalty, except now he comes from a long lineage, Matt, of not only wrestling, but sporting champions. You can even fucking play up that he, even, 100 years ago, they were accomplishing fantastic sporting feats in Mexico. They are the kings of sport in Mexico, right? And he's just the latest of long line of Mexican sporting greats. And he's got greatness thrust upon him, right? He's expected, Matt, to be phenomenal. Yeah? So for the first year, you've got him out doing his regular Alberto Del Rio stuff, right? But he doesn't win any championships. Doesn't get a title shot, just does really well for about a year. Then he gets a title shot, and he loses. Tough fought match, but he loses, right? And the way that I would have done it then is that suddenly you can get someone to come in, play his father, or maybe his uncle, someone associated with his family, right? And they go, yeah, sorry, Del Rios don't lose championship matches. That's not what our family is about. That's not what we do. And the fact that you lost has shamed your family, right? This is the beginning of his face turn, right? If you wanted to turn him face, you can even drag out that heel point longer. But it has to be the fact that he hasn't won a championship yet. And then you make it so they go, okay, so all this money, all this lavishness that you come out and you display to everyone, which we love doing and we know that you love to do as well, all that's going to be cut off if you don't win the championship within 6 months. If you don't win the title within 6 months, fuck it, we won't even take your name off yet. You're not even Del Rio. You can just call yourself Alberto, right?
You just be.
You just be, right? We don't. To be honest, you'll be dead to us, right? Because we are a long lineage of champions. We don't have time for a failure to be part of our family. So then you can go on 6 months of him trying to burst through, trying to get another title shot, right? Crowd response is gradually going because you can start taping back some of his more heel stuff. And in the 6th month, he wins the championship, the world title. And then the big ending turn to this whole storyline is that you can have this big celebration done by his family, that he's finally joined his family of great sporting heroes. And you can make him a heel. You could say, okay, then he accepts them and he carries on being a heel. Or you could do the ultimate face where he goes, actually, I don't want to celebrate with you because it wasn't you who had my back when all this went down. It was all the fans. They helped me win this championship. Bang, you've got a Mexican face, Latino face champion. You could even change it out. Okay, you can take your banner, you can take your family history, cram it down your throat. I'm going to make a new history with the fans behind me, right? And basically then you've got a new star. That's how I would have done Alberto Del Rio. Now, obviously, that's all just coming up with a gimmick and hoping things go into place. What would you think of that? What do you think as a idea for Alberto Del Rio?
That is solid.
Yeah.
Now they just need to listen and maybe give it a try one day.
I think it's too late to do that family idea with Del Rio now because he's already like a multi-time world champion. But that's how I would do it. That's how I would do it. And that just shows you, Liam Cook, how bad I feel when I miss questions that I give fucking so much thought. I just go mental on them. I just go, okay, now I'm going to make a fucking... Matt, the notes I have on this are so extensive. So I'll be interested to see what everyone else has to think.
A bit excessive.
That's right. Moving on, Matt, I'm going to give you the last couple of questions because I did kind of go on a very long speech there for you. So here you go. Kane St. Dennis asks, which 5 wrestlers would we push heavy and 5 would get rid of? Now, obviously, I would say that we did the one of who we would fire a while ago. So 5 wrestlers now in WWE, especially with this injury crisis going on. Who would you push as of right now in WWE? Man
Neville.
or woman? Sorry?
Neville.
Owens.
Owens.
2?
Owens.
Well, that's 2, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to push him twice.
I thought you said who. I thought you said who. I was like, Owens.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how hard is that to understand? Neville, Owens, Ziggler.
Okay. 3.
Becky Lynch.
Okay.
And a 5th.
And a 5th. When you try and go for a tag team, that'll fill out. You've got 3 men, a woman, and a tag team.
Yeah. Tag team.
Should be NXT as well.
Enzo and Cass.
To the main roster, I'm guessing.
To the main roster.
Good picks. 2 I would add on my own. Kalisto and Bray Wyatt. That's who I would give little pushes to. Well, Bray Wyatt more so, but still.
Yeah.
But I actually think your list is...
But Kalisto's already getting his push.
I actually think that Becky Lynch is well on her way to becoming quite a big women's face. Like the
Oh god, yeah, she's on her way. I reckon she'll be champion by the time we pass Mania.
You reckon?
Whether she leaves Mania champion, but I reckon she will have at least held the belt.
Well, you got to think, what other face women are there at the moment? There isn't.
Sasha's injured.
Yeah, but they're not even acting face. I mean, she's going out there screwing everyone every week.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, according to Sasha, she isn't injured, but still. But
well, there isn't any.
There isn't. So there's really her. They're basically banking on her, really. And when Nikki Bella apparently comes back, they're treating her like a face as well. But, yeah. People are going to cheer Becky Lynch far more than they'll cheer for Nikki Bella. So, one of his other questions was, who do you think has a chance in NXT today to become future Hall of Famers? NXT today. I think there's one that comes out really strong to me, and it isn't a man. So I wonder who you get it.
Who's in NXT,
but isn't a man.
That is a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Bayley.
Only one. Bayley, yeah. I think Bayley's a shoo-in, personally. I think she's got so much more left to give. Anyone else in there that you think is a potential Hall of Famer in NXT?
It's kind of a really dumb question, because it's kind of like, not to sort of
dumb question.
Not to shit on the question, but it's like, it's all well and good what they've done in NXT, but there's so much more that they can get through.
Who do you think has the potential?
I think Balor's got the potential to be in the Hall of Fame.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think it goes back to who we thought was the big breakout stars that could be in there. It's pretty much the same for me. It's Cruz and Balor. Yeah. I think Bayley is probably shoo-in, to be honest. Even if she doesn't do much on the main roster, she already gave them the greatest women's match of all time.
Yeah.
So there is that.
And, the greatest women match, first Iron Man women's match.
Yeah.
First women to, headline the special. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right, last question then. This one's a little bit of fun for you, Matt. Are you ready for this? A little bit of fun?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. WWE Addict has a fun question with us. It is, if we became a wrestler today, what company would we join, and what would your name be, and also what would be your finisher? So, what would you think, Matt? I'll let you answer first. If you're a wrestler today, who would you? First of all, what company would you join? It's a hard question, isn't it?
Probably NXT.
NXT. Okay.
I know that kind of counts as, well, that's WWE. It's like, no, it's not.
What would be your name in NXT?
Oh, I don't fucking know. Whatever they'd give me.
Whatever they give you.
Unfortunately, that's what you get stuck with.
Yeah. What would be your finisher?
It's like the proper cop-out. I don't know. Whatever they give me.
Yeah.
It's the cop-out answer, I'm afraid.
Especially in NXT, yeah. What would your name be, though? Oh, sorry, what would be your finisher?
Whatever they give me.
Oh, that is a cop-out. You can still choose your own finisher, right? Jeez!
I don't honestly know.
Just go with the Dominator, Matt. You like that move.
I do like the Dominator.
I
don't know, because if anything, I quite enjoy the Black Hole Slam, but then that's white noise.
Okay.
And that's ruined.
Tis a bit. Okay, my answer is I would join Lucha Underground, and the reason being for that, Matt, is because everyone knows here that my leg isn't fantastic, that I walk with a cane, right? So being on NXT, I don't think there's much room for managers to grow there, right? So I'd go to Lucha Underground, right? I'd get to whack a few people with my cane in Lucha Underground, so that'd always be fun, right? Whacking a guy with my cane, probably over the head or over the back, something like that. And I would be a shark businessman who plies his trade by purchasing fighters to fight on my behalf. So I'd go to gritty places, because obviously you can have more bombastic stories in Lucha Underground, right? I'd go to places and I would buy the fighters in these fighting pits over the other, in the assholes of the earth, right? And I would bring them to Lucha Underground. I'd tell them, go win me a championship. And if they don't do the job, then I'll just throw them away and buy a new guy. That's my character right there. You know, maybe I'll buy you an NXT with your.
I was going to say, fuck it. Shall I just be in the muscle in the prison in the orange jumpsuit?
That's it. Yeah, you do that, and you have a mask on too. Yeah, and we'll call you El Matt. Yeah.
El Matt.
Yeah, or maybe something a little bit more scary.
El Mero.
El Marsander. And your finishing move can then be the Black Hole Slam.
Uh-huh.
There you go. Done. And by the way, if you don't win me the Lucha Underground Championship, I'm going to can your ass and buy a new fighter. So.
Okay. What about the sevens?
What about the sevens? What?
Is it the sevens? I can't remember what they've called it. What they call it now?
What? Explain to me. I shall tell you with my infinite knowledge.
The bloody belt of.
The Gift of the Gods.
That's the one.
Oh, that'll be fine. I think I'd be okay with the Gift of the Gods.
Good enough?
Yeah, I think if you want that, that'll be okay.
Cool.
So you have to go in and... I don't know, maybe I want you to fight Mil Muertes. Maybe I might want to do that. I don't know. Don't know. But I just love saying his name, man. Just fills me with joy. It's coming soon. It's coming soon, man. It's coming soon. I'm so excited. Mil Muertes. All right. That's all the questions for this week. Guys, we actually don't have that much time. We have to get a move on. This has been such a huge episode already. So if you guys do want to leave any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below on the Twitter handle, which is...
@TalkWrestlePod.
And also the Facebook.com/Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast. You can leave them on there. And just be wary that if I like your question a lot, then I may write a fucking essay. Because, yes. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And I'll pitch my gimmick ideas to you all. Network suggestions this week. I've got a doozy this week. I actually really enjoyed this one, and I actually watched it. I think it was 2 weeks ago that I watched this one. I was close to giving this last week as my first suggestion, but I liked it so much that when I thought, I don't know where I should do it, I was like, nah, of course I should, because I started watching the beginning of it, and I realised how much I liked it. It is For All Mankind, the Mick Foley story. It is in the Beyond the Ring section. It is 2 hours long. And it's done in much in the same vein as like the Paul Heyman documentary was done. And it goes through obviously goes through Foley's career. But I think one of the great things that I liked about it, Matt, much like in the Heyman documentary, is that it focused far more on the early side of his career rather than what happened in the last 5 years. So with Foley, it was obviously his time in WCW, him getting into wrestling, him basically we realised such a tumultuous time that he had with WCW and the people that he wrestled with back then and had long programs. We talk about Vader and Sting and what he thought of those matches and the hardcore style that he adopted and him getting his ear ripped off. All that is in there. And man, I'll tell you what, have you watched it?
I have, yeah.
I thought it was fantastic.
I do think it's great.
Yeah, I think
it's one of their better, Beyond the Ring documentaries.
Yeah. I think the reason why I liked it so much, though, is because it did focus so much on those WCW days and the early days of him coming in as Mankind. It gives a lot of time into why he thought of all those characters and the genesis of how he created them and what he wanted to do and some of the matches that he enjoyed. And obviously a lot of stuff on that fall from the cell, which obviously had a lot of stuff to do with it and stuff like that. So, yeah, I thought it was brilliant and... it's one of the ones that, like I said, like with the Paul Heyman one, that if I had to watch again for 2 hours, I really wouldn't have much of a problem watching it. Yeah. I honestly thought it was awesome. So, what is yours network suggestion this week, Matt? Yours is a lot more recent.
Mine is a lot more recent. Unfortunately, it's the only thing I've seen recently.
Okay.
And that would be episode 10 of Breaking Ground.
The finale. Finale of Breaking Ground. Yeah. Any reason why? Do you want to sell episode 10?
I just thought it was quite good, and I've been really enjoying Breaking Ground.
Yeah.
And the fact that this was the season finale kind of annoys me, because I'm just like, want more.
And it obviously followed...
I know they can't give us any more, considering they were like, hey, look, let's show bits from NXT London. It's like, oh.
Yeah. I thought one of the things I liked about Breaking Ground, though, is that it showed you some of the people that haven't currently been doing anything in NXT.
Sabatelli.
Yeah, and some of the people in there. So it makes you want to see them. When they come out on NXT, I'm going to be, at very least, a little bit more vested interest on how they do. So yeah, that's a plus for them.
I don't hate Dana Brooke so much, for some bizarre reason.
Actually, I think I hate her a little bit more, funny enough. I was soothing on her in a bit, and then I watched Breaking Ground, and she just comes off as the most fake person in the world. It really does. Really, really does. Like, I'm sure she's fine and everything like that, but she strikes me, and funny enough, my wife said the same thing, as one of the people I just couldn't stand to be around. Just couldn't stand it. But, you know me, Matt. I'm very selective of the people I like.
Yeah.
The people I like, I'll hold close and I'll mollycoddle them and cuddle them to death. The people I don't like, I just have no time for. So it's like, it's extremes. Right there. You know if I don't like you if I just don't talk to you anymore. If I just don't say anything. Whereas Matt knows I like him, and unfortunately he can't get rid of me now. So that's kind of the problem. Yeah.
Stuck now.
You've been trying to get rid of me for years, and now I've got you on a podcast. Jeez.
There is no escape.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty good. It's longer, that episode, as well. The last episode.
Yeah.
That's quite good as well. I did think some episodes of Breaking Ground weren't so good, but all in all, I think it was fine. I think it was okay. William Shatner's a great narrator of that show, by the way. I'll say that. I didn't
Oh
see
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Right, guys, we don't have a lot of time for Raw, so we're going to have to get through this pretty fucking quickly. I have written an entire Raw review, Matt, but I'm going to tell you right now, I actually don't think we have that much time left, so we may have to get through some of the final points and skip over some of the matches that maybe I wanted to talk in a little bit more.
Yeah.
So this Raw review is the first Raw of 2016. If you remember the last 2 weeks, I've been critical, and yourself, Matt, as well, have been critical of the quality of wrestling that we've seen on WWE's flagship television show. I think what I said last week is that after the Slammies, I was waiting for some really good wrestling, and it just wasn't delivered. Wasn't done. You and me were quite critical last week. We didn't like it at all, really. We said, well, actually, I think our review was that we could skip it. Was that right? I think we said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you could skip it. So the Royal Rumble is on the horizon now. They really are starting to build to it, and the plans for WrestleMania are going to start becoming clearer and clearer each and every week going forward from now. So there is that. Stephanie McMahon comes on out. Well, I say she comes on out. Roman Reigns comes out before she can even get into the ring.
Yeah.
So there is that. Reigns then says that the title is his life, the title is his family, and I say he should have gone full Gollum and just said the title is his precious. Yes. And the only way that you can destroy it is throwing it in the fires of Mordor, by the way. It's where they take all the old titles. Everyone knows that.
That's it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the women's title is still floating around, isn't it?
Yeah. Stephanie reminds us that no one wins in the end with Vince McMahon, and once Reigns loses the world title, she'll make him wrestle everywhere for no championships and break his body like they did to his father. I thought that was interesting subtext there involving what a certain Bret Hart has said about WWE in the past, which is they use you up like a racehorse and then put you around back and put a slug in the back of you. So
yeah,
interesting that they're putting this as part of a story, considering some older wrestlers would level that particular.
Oh, actually, do believe that?
Genuinely, yeah, they fully believe it, 100%. Well, I don't think that just about WWE. They think that about wrestling as a whole. But obviously, WWE is wrestling in a sense. So Reigns says that if Vince screws him tonight, remember there's a title match with Vince being the special guest referee, that Stephanie won't be picking up Vince from the jail like last week. She'll be picking him up from I was going to say ambulance. Why did I put that in my notes? Fucking hospital.
From an ambulance. Well, I wish you could take him from the ambulance.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe it was late. Maybe I did these notes while I was preoccupied or something else. Don't know. But anyway, I thought that was actually a pretty good line, and the dynamic of rather Vince against Reigns, because Reigns against Sheamus, Sheamus isn't a big enough heel really for this whole situation. He's a body, right? He's a heel that works, that has somewhat decent matches. So really, this whole rivalry, Matt, at the moment is Vince and Reigns. That's really what the rivalry is. No illusions to that. It's a lot of people saying, well, they're basically just doing Austin again. Well, Austin got over pretty well, so if they're going to do it again, it seems to be working because Reigns is getting cheered everywhere. So,
have you seen the fake Twitter post?
No.
Regarding this, someone had taken essentially photoshopped the text. But it was The Rock. Okay. It was just basically my cousin is nowhere near as good as my old buddy at Stone Cold BSR at being a Hellraiser.
Well, they basically are following that blueprint. But people might be going, oh, they've already done it before. Yeah, they might have already done it before, but they haven't done it that much before, and that's the reason why I say that I'm enjoying it at the moment, that the fact that they haven't done it that much doesn't sit in my mind, right?
Yeah, not to mention that we're talking about a story that was... Christ, how long ago? When was Austin McMahon?
Well, that was 97.
Was it 97?
97, 98. I mean, he was always fighting McMahon. But at the very least, Austin, he retired a long time ago, and he wasn't rivaling against McMahon all of that time. So, yeah, really, you're looking at probably close to 20 years. Like, that sounds like really fun.
So everyone's just like, it's Austin 2.0. It's like, fucking most of the crowd never saw it.
You guys love Tyler Breeze. He even openly admits on Breaking Ground that he is trying to be Gorgeous George, you know.
Yeah, he's trying to be someone else. Who's going to fucking pick on him for that?
Yeah, you know, like, you know... I
mean, I know Gorgeous George isn't Steve Austin, but...
Yeah, but what I mean is that everyone's something of something, right? You take things... As long as you don't constantly keep redoing the same thing every year, I'm fine for them taking inspiration and doing something, you know, along those lines. The one thing I will say about this, that at least the end game in this storyline isn't Vince to wrestle Reigns, which it was the end game in Austin, right? It's going to be Reigns to wrestle Triple H. Triple H is really the big rival he's going to end up with at the end of this. So, whatever. I'm enjoying it, and I actually thought that this opening segment, Matt, was less than 10 minutes, and I thought it was okay. I thought Reigns is acting like an ass kicker now than he ever has been as a single star. I will take that. I far more enjoy Reigns as he is now. So, like him saying that he's going to put Vince in hospital, and like the fact that Stephanie McMahon's going, but he's like a 70-year-old man, and Reigns is like, I don't care. You know, that to me is like, this guy's kind of a badass, right? He just doesn't give a shit, right? He's just going to kill people. Awesome, fun. So Neville versus Owens, Matt. We get a second try. WWE go like, okay. 20 seconds.
Like, we're sorry we shat on you last week.
Let's give you the match that we know you can have.
That's it. We're sorry we picked on you. Have something better.
That's it. Dean Ambrose is on commentary, and I tell you what, he's playing up both these guys quite well. He's not taking away from the match, which I think the actual commentary team could probably learn a thing or two from, but still. I thought this was a good match. You got Neville pulling some mental 450 splashes off the apron, which is always quite fun. And still bonkers, I actually have no clue how he manages to do that. So
which bit?
The fucking 450 splash off the apron. That's mad.
Oh yeah.
That's just no. I can't. I don't understand. If you get to literally, the only way you can get any better is doing 450 splashes from a standing position. I don't understand how it's possible, but he does it, and it's crazy, and it's like witchcraft. But that's why Neville is cool, right? It's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, the man that gravity forgot. You know, that whole thing. So Owens picks up the win anyway, but they have a longer match than really they would struggle to get a quicker match than last week, really, but still. And then Ambrose stops him from attacking Neville after the match, and then pays back that table spot last week by elbow dropping him through the table. At the same time, he's telling Owens if you want a shot, he knows where to find him. I'm sure that Ambrose forgot the fact that Owens actually has a rematch still banked for the IC title, so I'm guessing he does want a title shot, Owens, because he's been going mental without a title. He's getting like withdrawals, title withdrawal syndrome. That's what Owens is having. He's going mental. So someone get this guy a title stat before he just goes mental and just eats one of the fans in the front row. You know? Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think Kevin Owens is going to start beating up fans until he gets a title?
Do you know what? I wish they would plant people so it would be that.
It would be cool, actually, wouldn't it? If you just literally just sock someone in the face, he's just going mental, start foaming at the mouth.
If they planted someone, then yeah.
That would be yeah. I mean, guys, I don't actually want Kevin Owens to attack a person in the audience. That would suck, but you know, if it's someone planted, I think that would be pretty cool. But making that he's starting to lose his mind, man. He's just going mental, and I kind of see how it goes, but still. Vince McMahon arrives by limo, and apparently JoJo was immediately on hand to interview him. Yeah. He says that ironic last week that he had trouble with the law, but this week, Matt, he is the law. He is.
Law won.
No, he's not that. He's Judge Dredd. That's my joke, Matt. God damn you for stopping my only chance at a Judge Dredd joke on this goddamn podcast. God damn you.
Go on.
God damn. No, it's gone. It's gone, okay.
What is he?
It's gone. No, you can't do it anymore. Now, the next time something
You're not the law here.
But no. When this comes up again, Matt, you need to realise where I'm going before I go it and not block.
Citizens of Mega City 1.
Yeah. By the way, all those
rumours.
Not the law. All those rumors.
Get it out of your system.
No, I can't. It doesn't work. I'll go watch Dredd after the podcast, okay? That's how I'll do it. But all those rumors, by the way, that Dread is getting a Netflix series is like apparently it's just a joke.
Yeah.
That was coming out today. Oh well, deserves a series, but still. Anyway, getting a little bit sidetracked.
Deserves everything.
Titus O'Neil versus Stardust. It is what a Titus O'Neil versus Stardust match is. That's my review. Becky Lynch. Can I say anything else, really?
It happened.
It happened. Becky Lynch is backstage. Charlotte shows up, and Ric Flair woos in her ear. So, yep. This leads to a match between them. Apparently, it's one of their friendly matches again.
That got pretty intense.
Yeah, Matt, I tell you what, we were very critical of Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks last week. I actually thought the first 5 minutes of this match to be far enjoyable than that entire match last week. It's not that Sasha Banks is bad; she just had a boring match. Everyone's got it in them.
Yeah.
But I thought this match was good. I thought it was a bit cleaner, not as sloppy as they were doing last week, and I thought there was a lot more urgency, shall we say, in their wrestling. They felt like they had to do something with the time they had. It seemed like they told Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks, "You got 15 minutes with no story, fill it up," and they're like, "Okay, you know." I mean, come on, that's half of the Bayley Sasha Banks match in the Iron Women match that they had, except that was fucking drenched with story. The one last week had none. This, however, did have story because you've got the current. You got Ric Flair getting involved. You got Lynch ultimately firing back. She pulls the tights, cheats herself after Charlotte tries to cheat, and gets the victory. But of course, you're not allowed to cheat against a cheater, Matt. That's just not allowed, you know. And she gets kicked in the back and destroyed by Charlotte. So
she gets the shit kicked out of her.
I tell you what, Matt. This is clearly. I mean, she got a title by WWE logic. Remember, she got a pinfall over the champion. So technically, she is the number one contender. There should be a title match soon. Yeah. And it's got now. The last title match they had was Charlotte and Paige. And that was a dynamic where you have got a heel against a heel, so no one was really caring. And now you've got a clear face, everyone wants to get behind Becky Lynch, and a clear heel by Charlotte. It's just a much cleaner dynamic. It's one that you can get into much easier, and it's one I'll probably end up enjoying more. So
yeah,
I'm interested in that. I tell you what, Matt, this is one of the single matches we never actually got in NXT. This could be these girls setting a marker.
That is very true.
Yeah, this could be girls setting a marker. I mean, they did wrestle in a 4-way match, but never on a singles match of this magnitude if it's a title match. So go for it. I reckon these girls should blow the house down if they can, and give us one hell of a match.
What's the one thing I said this to you the other day? It was just sort of like I'm finding it really annoying when Tony's like Charlotte spent a lot of NXT going like, I don't want to live in my father's shadow, and now you can't say the word Charlotte without, spitting on Rick.
Yeah, literally he is there all the time now. Man, he just every time he shows up on screen, I just feel like the people that said to us, oh yeah, but they're constantly playing up that she's with Rick and we defended her, and I was just like, now I'm just like, you're just making me look like an idiot every time you show up, Rick, at this point, and I'm like, yeah. But still. But I tell you what, the best bit about this is, Matt, that we're slowly seeing the breaking up of this whole team thing that WWE seemed intent on doing for the first couple of months of their Divas Revolution. Yeah. Have you realised, by the way, they haven't said Divas Revolution in a very long time?
That is very true.
Yeah, they're keeping very quiet about it. Maybe they got the memo that you kind of have to make a Divas Revolution first.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem is there's a lot of, the only team that's currently still standing is bad.
Yeah, and I would like for them to break up. Personally, yeah. I don't think there's. I think you could argue that Naomi and Tamina in this landscape probably wouldn't get a lot of time without Sasha Banks, but at the very least, then make it a very clear thing that Sasha Banks is the leader of that group.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you forget they stand together in unity.
Oh, don't, Matt.
Unity.
Oh god. It's bad when. I look at Assassin's Creed games, and I know Unity is bad anyway, but now I just don't want to buy it even more so. It's just... God. Hopefully they don't start coming out with a black flag, because I fucking love that game.
Unity.
No, Matt, no. No, Matt, don't you dare do it again. That's me... Yeah. Alright?
Right.
Okay. You're gonna do it again at some point, aren't you? Before the show's over, aren't you?
Possibly.
But I can kind of see it coming. Uh, Vince McMahon is speaking to Sheamus backstage. There isn't really that happens much there, but okay, fair enough. Ryback versus The Big Show. Yeah, another one of the matches that ended quickly last week, so they just gave it to us again this week. Ryback...
Oh, I forgot about this match.
I thought this is quite funny, Matt, because Ryback hit one clothesline. This is the only move he did, and then immediately goes, finish it. He apparently thinks that Big Show is just a... Yeah, he just closed... Who knew that clotheslines were the one thing that you could do to just end the Big Show? Just finishes the match right there. So, I mean, one could say he's trying to beat Neville's record of a victory last week. Maybe that's a whole thing. I don't know. But it's not long after the fact that the Wyatt family get involved and they just beat down Ryback anyway, and then they turn their attention to Big Show, and suddenly the Wyatt family turn face by giving us an amusing beatdown of Ryback and Big Show in this, rather than a Ryback and Big Show match. So that's a face turn if I ever saw one. You take that as a face turn?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, definitely by my standards.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
I mean, obviously, clearly not, guys, but still. Del Rio, Rusev, and the versus Del Rio and Rusev versus the Usos. I thought this was quite a nice tag team match to fill out the middle of the show. And in a match like this, Matt, while I liked it, and it was good, and it ramped up at the end, like most Uso matches do, that's why I quite like them. At the end, it kind of goes a bit mental, goes Uso crazy, I guess. I'll say their statement for them. I would have liked it in this sort of situation, where they've got an established tag team in the Usos who are former tag team champions, and at this point, when I say established, people know that they are a very good tag team and well worthy of beating any tag team on the roster, right? And you've got Del Rio and Rusev, former singles champions, Del Rio former world champion, right? I would like for them to have played up a dynamic here where the Usos' teamwork is going against the individual superiority of Rusev and Del Rio. Wasn't so much what they did, but it's what I would have liked to have seen. It's very hard to do, of course. Like, there's a lot of storyline involved in a match, but they just made it just a regular tag match with these guys. But you get what I'm saying, right? That that it would be the Usos using smart tag team maneuvers, cutting off the ring. That's how they would get ahead in the match. But if it's a clear one-on-one, then clearly Rusev and Del Rio are going to win that match.
Yeah.
But still, I'm not going to... That's just me being picky. I still like the match. I still think it was fun.
I thought the match was good. And
already, Matt, at this point in the show, this show had already given me the wrestling that I was dying for last week. So this is halfway through the show, and I already got some pretty decent matches.
I don't feel myself craving at the moment.
Yeah, like it's I'm seeing some good wrestling. All right, fair enough, awesome. Ziggler versus Heath Slater. This is a talking point.
The social outcasts.
That's right. Slater comes out with the social outcasts, as they're calling themselves, which consists of Adam Rose, Curtis Axel, and Bo Dallas, of course, with Slater, I'm guessing, is their leader. So, with the amount of factions Slater's been in, he's trying.
That's a fair reason why he should be the leader.
Yeah, because he's got experience, right? That's it. That's exactly it. Was it the Nexus, the Core, 3MB, now these guys? Yeah, it's been around for ages.
I can't ever feel we're missing one.
Probably. But they're probably the most well-known ones that's on there. Oh yeah, sorry, Slater Gator with he had that tag team, right? So, maybe.
He just doesn't like being alone.
No, he doesn't. He likes friends. He's a popular guy, is Heath Slater. So there is that. Still, I actually have to say, Matt, during this match, I was like, wow, this is probably the longest match Slater has had on the main roster in fucking years.
Oh yeah.
Like, they had a long match.
Probably since like Nexus days.
Yeah, I was like, what? And he actually gets the victory, Matt. He uses, of course, the most devastating move in wrestling history to do it. But he beats Dolph Ziggler after distraction by two of the guys in his new group. But hey, it doesn't matter how you do it. You get the victory, Heath Slater. Well done. Good on you, lad. Good job. So, okay. They do an awkward promo afterwards where they call themselves the social outcasts. And
but don't forget the chains are off.
That's it. Yeah.
The chains are off.
The chains are off now. Chains are off, guys.
Chains are off.
Oh yeah, and Happy New Year, because I think Vince McMahon is still saying that from last week.
And the chains are off.
And are you sure the chains are off, Matt?
Pretty sure Curtis Axel has said that the chains are off.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you get more confirmation of that happening, then you need to put that on the Twitter and the Facebook.
Okay.
All right, you do that. Now, don't get it wrong, guys, when people be thinking maybe these guys' jobbing days are over. No, now they just have a faction they can job more.
Job Squad 2.0.
They are. Like, they got a victory over Ziggler here because it's their debut. That's pretty much it. So, there you go. I actually don't think they're going to get a push. Man, I would love it if they got some sort of a push and they started beating guys because it's like 4-on-1 that they're using all their numbers, and actually made something a little bit of themselves. But I don't think that WWE has any indication of giving these guys that sort of love and attention. So Reigns is backstage. McMahon talks to him. That's basically it. You see how fast I'm getting through all this shit,
Just
man?
like, don't forget, these are the rules that you've been abiding by
for
your entire career.
Yeah. No gouging, Matt. No gouging.
No gouging.
No
yeah.
gouging.
I like that word.
Are you a serial gouger in your free time? Are you?
I just quite like that word. The way you're just making sure. Just sort of like no scratching, no clawing, no gouging.
I don't know. I kind of like it too. I don't know why. Are we sick? I think we might be. I think that might be a bit weird. Moving on, because we're talking about gouging, we need to talk about unicorns and rainbows. And who, of course, to bring that to us than the New Day with their new Titantron, which is fucking awesome. I have never seen a better Titantron than this. It is amazing, and I will be purchasing a New Day shirt at some point. It is that awesome, guys.
It's about that I genuinely had a guy in my work the other day in the New Day shirt with the three of them on the unicorn. I'm like,
oh, you should have given him your staff discount there, Matt. You should have given just for that. That's the instant. Think of the positivity he could have given you, right?
That's it.
Power of positivity, right?
And soaked up the positivity.
And passive aggressive, because that's kind of what New Day are a little bit. Well,
yeah,
kind of. So they tell us that they're going to break their opponents quicker than Mike Tyson broke his booty on a hoverboard. And they actually recreate that moment for people like myself who hadn't seen that. So Booty! And it's in this time that Xavier Woods' unicorn horn gets all floppy. And I tell you what, a more crass and disgusting podcaster might have made a joke out of that, but not us. We're of a higher esteem than that. You weren't sex-based jokes on this show? Come on.
No.
I'm sure there's some of them who thought, oh, they're going to make jokes. No, come on, guys. Come on. Grow up, all right? Just grow up. Anyway, they... that was a weird sort of laugh I had there. Anyway, they count down to on the Titantron for a big announcement or whatever. I was still looking at the rainbows, to be honest. They're awesome, so fantastic. And then it changes to a Y2J countdown. And then Jericho himself comes back out. Now, Matt, you quite liked this return, didn't you? Well,
I did. I mean, the thing is, I knew the worst part is obviously not watching live. I knew he had made his return.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just sort of like, there's still, I didn't know when.
Well, I liked it. However, I'm liking it less and less every single time it happens. It's like every single time that he makes his big return, I'm a little bit like, oh, okay, it's Jericho. I'm not like, oh my god, stop the presses, this is number one news on the week. It's like, oh, okay, Jericho's back. And I feel like this, the usefulness that you've got of Jericho coming in and doing matches with people is starting to wear thin. With me. But still. Like I think the majority of the stuff that he could have given over to people was when he lost to Fandango at WrestleMania. And by the way, Fandango kind of nowhere to be seen. So
yeah, but did a good job there.
Yeah. So Jericho, I thought, actually, I will say though, while the return didn't capture me as much as I did, I thought Jericho's promo was brilliant. I actually thought it was really good. He even got chants of Rooty Tooty Booty towards the New Day, which of course they didn't like. He also told us that network subscriptions, TV ratings, and live attendances need a shot in the arm, which I'm sure that I'm pretty shocked if Vince McMahon was the one to write that line. So I'm sure he didn't like it either, to be honest.
Yeah.
WWE are quite defensive of their own stuff. And then he announces he'll be in the Royal Rumble match. But I tell you what, Matt, I actually really enjoyed this promo from Jericho. It felt more like Jericho of old rather than Jericho of new, where he kind of drops some random joke and it doesn't really feel that good. I don't know. I just liked it more, maybe. But Jericho, he's back. He's going to be in the Royal Rumble, and hell, it'll be fun. Even if he doesn't stick around afterwards. Hell, they might even give Jericho a match at WrestleMania. They might need him at this point. So there is that. New Day wrestle the Kalisto. Why not? Let's call him the Kalisto, like the Brian Kendrick. Why not? And the Dudleys.
Ryback.
The Ryback, yeah. I tell you what, this is a good match, but it reminded me, if anyone's going to ask me a question about which move I would not like to take, I'm going to tell you right now, in advance. It is Big E's splash on the apron. Oh man, my body would be destroyed at that. I look at that and I'm like, my back is going to die. I'm literally going to break my back. It looks horrific. All I can think of, Matt, is laying on the apron, sitting there thinking, you know what? It isn't too bad. Only my shoulders and my head are hanging off this thing. I'm having a good view of the ceiling, and suddenly you see Big E with his big wide eyes shouting preacher things to you, jumping in slow motion in the air, very high up by the way, because he's quite athletic, and then just the sudden realization that his 300-pound mass is going to crash onto you with your body hanging over the apron.
Yeah. You're limp, you're just going to oh no, it's not too late to pussy out.
It's one of these things that if I didn't shit myself at seeing that, him landing on me is going to squeeze that shit out anyway. So I'm going to shit myself if that happens. So there you go. Stuff you probably wanted to hear. The things you know. The things you know on this show. New Day use their teamwork and get another victory, getting tons of them, the New Day, and they're doing well. They're doing all right. Now, this leads to the main event of the night. Roman Reigns, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, against Sheamus, with Vince McMahon as the guest referee. Vince McMahon strutting down the ring, Matt. It gave me a smile to do him with his. I tell you what, he is he's quite,
sleeveless ref shirt.
That's it. I know he's getting on a bit now, but you can still strut like anyone else. He was getting around that ring not too well, I will add, but still, that's okay. Although him giving the double-handed counts for fast counts does give new meaning to fast counts.
Did you catch him try and flip the bird at the crowd?
Yeah. It's Vince McMahon. He just doesn't give a shit,
So but if I put it behind a hand, nobody will see.
Yeah.
Except for the camera that's looking the other.
Looking directly at. Yeah.
Shit.
Oh well. But if there's anyone that doesn't get told off for that, it's the guy who owns the business. So
yeah.
There is that.
Who's going to tell me off? Me?
Yeah. I actually really liked this match. I thought it was a lot of fun. And it's classic evil referee doing all the tricks. It's all old stuff, guys, with him. He's taken ages to count the two. Oh, he's got something in his eye, and suddenly he's counting really fast.
There's something over in the opposite corner that's really distracting all of a sudden.
Yeah. Guys, that's just Wrestling 101, and that's the stuff I like. So I really enjoyed this match. I actually really found a lot of fun in it. And people might go, but it makes Sheamus look like he can't win a match with all the odds stacked in his favour. Yeah, because that's kind of how everyone perceives him to be anyway. No one ever took him as a world champion to begin with. So, It's just, like I said, I bring the association up with Dude Love, because it is kind of the same thing, with Dude Love having all the odds on his favour to beat Stone Cold, but somehow Austin would beat him, right? Somehow Austin would beat him, and he would get away and all that. So, yeah, it's under the same dynamic, but I enjoy it. I think it was fun. Reigns is basically just dominating Sheamus. Pins him. McMahon just outright refuses then just to do the count at this point. He's like, no, not going to do it. So Reigns socks him in the face for it and then spears Sheamus. Reigns goes into a bit of beast mode. And Stephanie comes down to stop Reigns from killing her dad. But then he throws Vince into the ropes and then she kind of flops over. And this is the commentary saying he went too far with this. So I didn't really see what really was much of the thing there, but still, okay. They're making it obscure
if
enough.
They say so.
But one thing I liked was after that was with Vince kind of getting to his feet, Matt. Reigns, who's just gone ballistic at this point, looks at Stephanie in the eyes and says, "Watch as I destroy your dad." I thought that was brilliant. I was like, this is the Reigns I've always wanted. This is exactly the Reigns I wanted all along. And he goes to spear Vince, which would probably kill the guy, honestly. But Sheamus comes in with a bro kick, tries to get the count, but then the old corrupt referee, Scott Armstrong, comes in. He tries to fast count, but obviously Reigns is able to kick out in time. Fans, by the way, go mental for this. They loved it. It was, there's so much psychology in this match. It was beautiful. And then Reigns obviously overcomes it all. He does spear. Another referee comes down and counts the winning fall. And he retains his championship in what I thought, Matt, was one hell of a fun match. I
I loved the main event.
Yeah, I thought this was great fun. I really did. A real fun end to the show, and I thought the show overall was pretty strong. I actually thought it was alright. So afterwards, Vince says, "Well, you know what? You can keep the title for now, but at the Royal Rumble, you're going to defend the championship in the Royal Rumble match itself." Which I thought was a fantastic idea. I think that brings around so many storyline ideas. And if Reigns is going to lose that title so soon after winning it, man, what a travesty it's going to look like, him losing it in the Royal Rumble, right? With all those people up against him. And, I'm not saying he should come out number one, but he could be in early, he could wrestle hard, he could wrestle long. You could have someone that WWE wants to be the champion, comes out last, wins the whole thing. It's going to get people behind Roman Reigns. It's going to make him... Listen, I'm not going to say you're going to have it as Triple H, but if Triple H wins as the last entrant and wins the championship, you're going to want Roman Reigns to go on a hunt to kill this guy. And it may eventually culminate in a title match at WrestleMania, which is, I'm going to give you one more chance to win this title, and then otherwise I'm going to fire you, sort of thing.
One thing I was thinking that maybe Lesnar is in the Rumble.
Yeah.
Lesnar wins the Rumble.
Wins the title.
Lesnar gets belt.
Okay.
But Triple H screwed him.
Okay. I'm liking where you're going with this.
Then you go to Fastlane.
Yeah.
Reigns goes for rematch for belt.
Yeah.
He loses. Triple H has screwed him again.
Yeah.
He's now lost all eligibility for the title.
Yeah.
Lesnar can go off and fight whoever he wants because a Lesnar match will just be good anyway.
And if he has it for the belt, whatever, yeah.
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 And then you've got Reigns, Triple H.
So you can say that again, it cut out a little bit there, the idea that you had for Reigns. It just cut out there in a little bit.
So after being screwed out at Rumble and Fastlane by Triple H and the Authority, you then have Lesnar free to fight whoever for the belt at Mania.
Yeah.
And then you have Reigns and Triple H at Mania, settling their feud.
You can even have it as a no-holds-barred match or something like that. Make it really hardcore. Yeah, no, I'll tell you what, Matt, that's actually a pretty good idea for WrestleMania as a whole as well, if you want to do it along that line. Because, there isn't, at the moment, any clear indication about who Brock Lesnar's going to wrestle at Mania. So, yeah. No, I'll tell you what, Matt, I don't think that's too bad. The fact is, though, the only thing that's wrong with that is that you got Brock Lesnar winning the title in a way that you wouldn't associate Brock Lesnar winning the belt. Yeah. And also then you've got the Authority helping him retain the championship. If you want Lesnar still to be face, you can have him come back as heel, I guess, but I don't know where that goes with that, but still.
You can have it so just without even... if you had it as, Lesnar and Reigns as the last two people, and then he gets screwed out, it kind of does fuck up the whole Lesnar thing. But, early on or something, just to mess with Reigns, it's by the way, you're going in number one.
Yeah, you can even have... I like the idea of that.
Before number 10 even comes out, you have, number 10 could be... I don't fucking know, Kane or something.
Well, he's not. You can have it as
an Authority member, or whatever. But they just screw him out.
Yeah, you can even make it that they put a bounty on whoever can get Roman Reigns out, and he's out even before Brock Lesnar gets in there. So Brock Lesnar can then win it his way and win the title with all the fans being behind him. Because then you don't have this thing of Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar's the one that overgets. Roman Reigns has already been screwed out long before Brock Lesnar got in there. Yeah. That's an idea, Matt. I actually like that idea. There's lots of good ideas that can come out of doing this. And I tell you what is so unique about this. the title has never been defended in a Royal Rumble. It has been put up in a Royal Rumble. Someone has won the world title, Ric Flair, but no one has defended the championship in a Royal Rumble match. No one has actually gone in as the champion and had to defend it in that match. So it's unique. It's the first time we're ever going to see it. And man, I'm on board. I'm like, yes, okay, awesome. And people might say, well, it makes the card for Royal Rumble a little bit less because you don't have a title match. I argue most people buy the Royal Rumble and are interested in the Royal Rumble pay-per-view for the Royal Rumble, not the title match. You know, often they would put like title matches on there just as a given, just as a random thing. We saw Brock Lesnar against Hardcore Holly for the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. It was one of these matches that they just threw out there just to kind of get it over and done with, sort of thing, you know, just to have a title match at Royal Rumble. It's very rare that they take that Royal Rumble title match seriously, you know. So sometimes they do. That's not always. Sometimes they will do a title change on the Royal Rumble and then have someone win, and then you've got a new world title rivalry going there, but not always. So that's how I'll go with that. I like that, Matt. There's 2 different ways they could take it, Matt, and I'll be absolutely fine with them doing either one. So
yeah.
So all in all, guys, we need to wrap this up because we are getting close to going over time. I thought that this Raw was pretty good. I actually thought it was a decent Raw, some great wrestling. I think there's some interesting story branches that can go off from here. And yeah, they've got an injury crisis, WWE, but in terms of storylines, I tell you what, with the WWE title, at very least, and this Royal Rumble match, I tell you what, I'm on board. I'm interested in where they're going to go with this, what their plans, at very least this injury crisis in WWE makes the plan for WrestleMania less predictable, and therefore I'm more incentivized into watching the build-up for it, because I want to know what happens, who goes up against who, where these rivalries are going to come from. It's time for WWE to show that they can make interesting storylines in the place of their established stars, which they've always relied on. You know, maybe the real star of this show isn't the mid-card rising up to the task. Hopefully, touch wood, it's the story writers that come up to the task, and they give us interesting stories with the characters that we have, and that is what takes over from these big stars, that they get you invested. It's a big, long shot, and probably won't happen, but I'm putting my fingers crossed anyway. You know, you got to at least have some hope, otherwise there's no point in watching it at all. So,
well, they've got to do something.
Yeah, that's it. So that is the end of this week's show, Matt. Episode 108, and yeah, Royal Rumble was on the horizon. We were enjoying that. Do you have a good show, Matt, this week? Did you have a good show? Did you enjoy the show?
I did, yes.
You did, of course you did. And I enjoyed it as well there. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, you can leave a like, you can leave a comment in the comment section below. If you're new, you can become one of what we're hoping to be 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Come and help us join us on this. Help us hit that deadline at the end of this year. We've got a long way to go, we've got a lot of subscribers to get, but you can be one of them. And why not send us a question to be answered on the show? What a better way, Matt, to introduce yourself to the show, become a subscriber, become one of our fans, than to have one of your questions answered live on this show. Would be good, wouldn't it?
That's it.
Exactly.
Fewer better ways.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to follow us on Twitter, our Twitter handle is
@TalkWrestlePod.
It is indeed. And also you can follow us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast. You can like that page, and you get regular daily updates of what we're watching and what we're thinking of wrestling and other things, other random stuff that we might put up there randomly. And also updates on what's going on in the show. If there's ever a show that's late or doesn't come around, or we've got extra shows going on, that is the place to find it. That's the place to go, the Facebook page. Apart from that, we are done, guys. We hope you guys have a great week yourself. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll catch you all next week for hopefully another big news week of wrestling. I want another hour of news, Matt. That's what I want.
No.
Alright then, guys. Catch you next time.
As we'll catch you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.